Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Cole, and this is likely the first video that you'll be seeing from me. And today I just wanted to talk a little bit more about Christ consciousness. So I'll be doing this over the next 30 days, just relating my experience, my perspective, and connecting with people who align with me spiritually. This whole channel and this whole purpose of this is more like a digital repository of like my whole journey into spirituality, religion, theology, philosophy, and those different things. And I've kept it like inside of my mind and written on paper for so long that I need a place where I can be comfortable speaking. And one of the ways to do that is to share that perspective with others. So the reason why I'm talking about Christ consciousness and not saying anything like Jesus is because like we'll get to that, and I believe that Yeshua is the Christ. But when we talk about spirituality, we have to remember that it's not just all about religion, and it's not just about the things that religion taught us. We're talking about things that date back thousands of years, and when you start talking about spirituality, not religion, spirituality, connection to the Creator, and you start talking about all of the different themes, entities, mythologies, and everything that falls under that, you start to realize that there's a concept of something called the original name, and that the original name holds power, and that translations and changing of original name, regardless of the intention, dilutes the power. It's just like reading the Bible in English. Okay, you can gain a lot from it in English, and you will have to read it multiple times in order to gain an understanding. But at the same time, from you lose it from the translation of, let's say, Aramaic to Greek, and from Greek to Latin, and from Latin to whatever the trail is. You lose a lot because one, English wasn't really formed as a language for to match a parallel like the languages spoken during the times of the Bible and all these ancient texts, right? So we have to, as modern believers and modern spiritualists and modern Christians, Jews, Muslims, and whatever you practice that believes in the one creator, you kind of have to like understand where you are now, but also you have to fit in the context of like everything that came before you. So for me, as my journey into Christ, it led me to things like Coptic Christianity. It led me to Egypt. A lot of it leads back to Egypt, learning about how things like communion and what that actually is, how it's a transubstantiation ritual that comes from ancient Kemet, things like that. And it led me to break away from the dogmatic religion and step more into the spiritual consciousness side. And for a lot of Christians, that tends to be Christ consciousness, even though I won't call myself necessarily a Christian, though I do believe that Yeshua the Christ laid the most well lit path towards enlightenment, if that makes sense. So, what is Christ consciousness? Christ consciousness to me, as I explained in one of my other videos, is the frequency of supreme and infinite love. There is the love and the frequency of the Creator is the frequency that we all strive to like attain. When talking about like reaching the highest aspects of your soul, when you're talking about attaining, when all of those things that you hear from outside of religion and the spiritualists, all it is about growing the soul and evolving the soul to be able to access at will and on command the love frequency of God. And that'll do things like give you the ability to like incarnate at will, heal, and all those things which we'll get into. So when we talk about Christ consciousness, we are inherently talking about vibration. And vibrations are frequencies. That is what we are talking about. So when I say things like in the beginning was the word was the sound, sounds are frequencies. They are waves. You have waves in your brain waves, frequencies. Now, if we were to take an EEG machine and hook it up to your brain, we will be able to see, based on the thoughts that you're having at the moment, the frequency that it's outputting. So during our day to day, going to work, going to school, and things like that, we're at beta. When you find yourself at a moment of like just calm and relaxation. You're not really like daydreaming, but you're just sitting there, you're just vibing out and you relax. Typically, that's alpha. When you're working and time is moving rapidly because you're moving so fast, you're in the flow state. That's alpha. Theta and delta are the deeper levels of consciousness, like daydreaming, where the intuition comes from, the being in the shower and you get those thoughts, those expansive consciousness expanding thoughts, and then deep sleep, which is data where you have the REM sleep, you have the lucid dream, the astral projection, and all those different things. So when we say the spiritualists say change the frequency, this is what we mean. Now, we can also talk about things like brain hemisphere synchronization, where the left side and the right hemisphere of the brain are both synchronized, and what that does for the body, as told throughout the CIA gateway tapes. That's a little bit down the line. We can also talk about things like the Silva Ultramind method, which is essentially a breathing technique and just an overall mental technique, mentalism technique of taking yourself from beta to these different states of consciousness while remaining awake. Because the goal is, if I can access theta and delta with the same level of awakeness and clarity that I am now, well, then I can actually start creating and manipulating my reality. That's what the spiritualists mean. The spiritualists mean meditate and breathe and get yourself to a brain state where you get access to the same creation powers that you have in your dream. Once you're there and you're able to remain awake at theta and delta, create mental images of your desired goal, the thing you want to accomplish, the thing you want to do. Create a mental picture, a mental video of it. Make it clear, make it colorful, make it well defined. Then you also add things like emotion. In addition to the mental picture and seeing exactly what you want, you also need to feel the way that you want to feel. By doing that in these lower frequency ranges, the theta and the delta, and don't think lower as a negative, we're talking about the actual number. If you're able to do that, staying awake at these levels, and then impress that and infuse that with like highly charged emotion, what that'll do is that'll take that emotionally charged mental picture and it will impress it on your subconscious. Your subconscious does not know the difference between your external reality and your internal reality. You, waking state, know the difference. Your subconscious doesn't. Your subconsciousness is always sending out vibrational signals. But what signals is it sending out? A lot of times it's fear, negative, guilt, creating a feedback loop of the things that we don't want because that's what the universe doesn't know. It's going to say, okay, it's sending me a signal of negativity. I'm going to send it back what it's sending me. So you need to get your subconscious to send out the thing that you want to accomplish. How do we do that? Changing of the brain state. You're not going to be able to get there just from the beta and think your way there. It's not how it works. You need to get yourself down to theta and delta, preferably while staying awake. Now, there are some things that you can do right before sleep, like right before sleep. So you're like meditating, you're keeping the image clear right before sleep, and then you fall asleep with that intention in your mind for, let's say, 8, 9 hours. And then while you're asleep, and the previous thing that you thought about is now vibrating as you sleep for that duration, 8, 9 hours. Little ways to hack your own brain waves and things like that for manifestation. So that's what manifestation is. You're always manifesting. You're always manifesting something. Something's always being attracted towards you. But what is being attracted towards you? Well, what are you vibrating as? It's not what you want, it's what you are. What you are is your vibration. What is your vibration? That's determined by your conscious thoughts and your subconscious thoughts. Now, this is just, we'll go into this a lot deeper in the future, but this is what we mean by change your frequency. Your frequency can be found in your brain waves. Changing of the frequencies allows you to manipulate and change your reality. So, let's talk about practical steps of what you can do to actually change your frequency. Meditation and solitude, not isolation, solitude. Even if that solitude just means going for a walk and it's just you. Just you. Allow yourself to have those intimate moments with the God inside of you so the ultimate creator God can speak through your higher self and you can connect. Let me say that again. Be solitude. Be in solitude, not isolation, solitude. So you and the creator can have intimate moments and form an intimate relationship. Now, when you come from that meditation, the meditation is essentially pausing and breathing. Now, there's active meditation where you can create mental pictures and mental images, but a lot of times the meditation that you need is to calm the mind, calm the body, calm the spirit, remove your ego and everything that you want to say in the moment, and listen to what the creator is trying to tell you. That's the type of meditation that often is most difficult to do, but the ones that reap the most rewards when you can get yourself to be silent. Now, don't be hard on yourself because getting yourself to be silent is the challenge. It's supposed to be difficult, and it will be difficult. Now, if you want to change your frequency quickly, maybe you're going through something hard, it's difficult, meditation not really working. That you've been praying, you've been saying positive affirmations, you've been doing all of that, and it's still not matching the intensity of the negative frequencies that are in your life. Positive deeds of service. Positive deeds of service. Positive deeds of service, physical activity, and community. Positive deeds of service, physical activity, and community. Positive deeds of service because if you are working with and helping someone less fortunate than you, it's very hard to throw yourself a pity party. Physical activity and community. Physical activity is one of those slow release dopamine triggers. So like you have to a lot of times we like to scroll through Instagram because it's quick dopamine, quick dopamine, quick dopamine. The physical activity it takes longer to get. You might have to suffer through the first 10, 15 minutes of that workout before the dopamine kicks in and you go, wow, I really like this. And that's also probably the key to your procrastination as well. You probably need to suffer through those first 10 to 15 minutes until you realize that you actually like the task that you're doing. And community as well. Community, if you have the proper community, they will be the ones to help you do the physical activity, help you and put you in places doing the positive deeds of service. Because whenever there's two or more in the name of God, God is in there in the midst of them. So to me, those are my bread and butter. Meditation, solitude, prayers and affirmation, mantras, those all work and they have their place, but sometimes you need something intense. And when that intensity comes in, I, I'll go help the homeless. I will meet up with friends who are more spiritually aligned with me and where I want to go and have conversations and interactions with them. And hopefully, if the schedules align, I like to go work out with those people because we can have that spiritual community along with the physical activity. And then laughter. If you're around the right community, laughter is the best medicine of all. And then lastly, I have substances. And it's not just psychedelics. Obviously, psychedelics changes your brain state clearly, but things like other lower vibrational drugs like cigarettes or alcohol can change your vibrational state, medicines, things like caffeines, but also things like ashwagandha or turmeric or herbs can raise your vibrational frequency higher. So, but all those things are outside of you. These are more so inside of you, and these that you can do on your own. Kind of limited with substances unless you have the money. But pretty much like anything that any person can do to change their frequency is always have intimate moments within themselves and with God and go help. If you help and in the midst of that helping, you start to realize that you are more fortunate than the people that you are helping, and that should give you an overwhelming sense of gratitude. See, it's hard sometimes to really be grateful when you don't have a contrasting perspective in your face. But a lot of times it is very difficult to remain ungrateful if you are in the midst of helping someone who's worse off than you and they have a better attitude. And we need to be aware of ourselves because this is not everybody goes through this. Nobody's perfect. You're going to you're going to mistreat the things that you should be most grateful for, but it's on you to catch yourself and then put yourself in the right situations and environments to create that gratitude within self. That gratitude, that true gratitude, will change the frequency of your mind because now you're thinking about all the good things that God has blessed you with, all of the great things that are in your life. And what's that doing? By being so charged with emotion and such a clear mental picture, it's pressing that on your subconscious. What your subconscious doing? Go, oh, wait, we're talking about all of the ways that we've been blessed. oh, he seems to be really enjoying all the ways that we were blessed. What if I send more of that? A feedback loop. Now you're creating the rhythm of a positive feedback loop. Now you can break those negative karmic cycles. Now, this is just like a very, very beginner, beginner introductory video explaining this kind of stuff. And please, if you have questions, ask me questions. I'm by no means perfect at this. Like I said, this is all new for me, and it's really about understanding like the journey that I took in as well. And I'm interested in taking the journey with you. So I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.